sacred Bambara forest, and here we are between the walls at the Isis temple, Leg of the Bull, on Gurungi land. And what we're seeing here is culture story. This story has been returned to Aboriginal Australia. They own this story, and so we're just going to have a bit of a chat about that, and we'll unfold what it says. For us to read this, it took the input of many chiefs, custodians, seniors, elders, traditional artists to all come together and to even bring this out. So no single student of Egyptology had a clue. They wouldn't have never have got anywhere at all with it. You had to be a student of culture first to begin to grasp. With the unfolding of Murray Guelda, the traditional writing, reading and maths used and taught to the Egyptians by these Australian traditionals, we know, and now that we know about Australian language, Murray Guelda, and the connection of the Gurungi, the great influence it had on Egypt, when we look to Egypt, we see mentions of the Australian Gurungi tribe all over Egypt, and they were honoured greatly as the custodians of this place, and as they say, this place, The shield marks that we see on the local tribe, the Gurungi, and we see that carved into the land, around these places, and we can't take it away. We're standing on Gurungi land right now, so not surprising that they mention this place as Gurungi. So what we're seeing, Susan, parting the dark in this place, in the house of light, the home of mother and the moon, the Gurungi. Murray Guelda again, Australian Aboriginal writing, one digit is the word Mal. So Mal, the creator. And Murray Guelda, it's wonderful. So far the words we're seeing is Mal, Bula, Yuliangala, entering the dark. Gurungi. So wonderfully Australian, and it goes on and on. No wonder they could never read it. For the sake of who could read that? It says here, behind the walls, we the servants of nature, but what's important about it, of nature, the God King. It was all about nature. And this is, and of course the axe was a beautiful symbol for that, because in the early days, the axe did everything from chopping the wood to making a canoe to making a shield. So the maker is demonstrated with an axe. And so in Egyptian it's the word natur, N-T-R. How they're doing it. Here we've got the very common, beautiful image for scribes. So we breathe life, scribing the words with breath. Again, bulla. So this bulla word, anybody Gumarai or Difrabul, would recognise that instantly as common to these lands here as the word for breath. What we're about to learn now as we read is this quickly becomes a funeral text, and then it starts straight away. Things go downhill pretty quick. Bad news. The Jed Thor came across the sea to this place. He was the foreman for works for 3 rulers before eventually, as Macquarie, he became the king himself. So Djedfor Tamphus Macquarie. So Macquarie as king is mentioned in Giza as being there in relative text of the day, inspecting his building works going on. So helping us to attest the dates for Giza, the time frames, comes in this man being mentioned there in relative text of the day, or tool that's used in the attesting of Giza on how old its works is. So what this is telling us is a builder of Giza stood right here where I stand now, and he wrote these words, Djedfor, and he was a very respectful man, showing us the fish god. So if we look at this from Australian culture, the fish god is greatly important, because at the end of the day, it's all about the water. Everything's about the water. And so the great mother, she was seen as being in that water, travelled in the water. It was part of her. So importantly too, for our brothers across the sea from India, they called this same fish god, or water god, they called her Matsua. Spell check that, but Matsua will get you there. M-A-T-S-Y-A, I believe. And so she appears in the time of the Great Flood, and it was Matsua, the great fish, that towed the boat of the avatars through the churning milky waters at the time of the Kali Yuga, the chaos on Earth, and towed them safely to their destination. So what we're seeing is we've got the Egyptians honouring this a story which matches through Australian traditional law in the way of it's all about the water and the importance of mother in the water, and then again now it goes into Indian mythology as well. So we've hardly started, and instantly we get three mythologies all matching into one. This we identified through the Westcar Papyrus. And the Westcar Papyrus is that famous papyrus, the most chosen thesis for topic for Egyptology to be a professor. It's one of none of those guys got this. And but this came purely straight out of it. And what it is here is what we're seeing is, from the Westcar Papyrus, it's introducing to us the land of Djed Snefru, or Djed Nethra they call it. And what we're seeing is Djed Nethra. This place. They love doing that. I've got to do it myself. I love it so much. This place, you know, and done so bold to mean it, you know, and so it's got a double meaning to it, because up here it's saying a child of Ra. Yes, a child is the goose, Ra, and importantly here is south. And how we know that south is over here. When we get to this one, we'll find this is the sign for north. And we'll see these in official official sign lists as we do comparisons to suit this film. We'll go along with it. And so here we're seeing child of Ra of the south. And then it tells us this place. But it's saying it twice, and that's why it's in a box. It's giving us both an address and the man's name. So in the Westcar Papyrus, when they talk of this man, in short they call him Didi the magician. But in long, they say him as Djed of Djed Nefre. And so here, the Satek, it causes one to say it twice. So child of Ra in the south, Djed of this place, Djed. And here, of course, it deserves explaining because it's such a fabulous piece, you know. So the great spirit Amun. And so he's actually from Australian Aboriginal law, Star-Lord, this man, Amun. So what he is he's the great spirit within the Milky Way. So he's the spirit of, we could say, the universe. Unlike, we have a spirit in the sun, but for the universe, you know. So he's a really powerful spirit. But what the Egyptians have done here, as well as the Australian Aboriginal teachers and makers that were here, is they've applied the sun alongside. And importantly, watch this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. More Murray Gwelder again, you know. And so what happens is that when the sun's rays shine on Amun, now this is Amun Ra. So he's twice as powerful as he was a few moments ago. And what is he going to do with that power? It all comes down to this here. And this here, so instantly you and I would look at that, and in our modern day minds we would probably think there's a crucifix there. Well, this is a symbol extremely old, you know, and in Aboriginal this is the symbol Tula, and the tree of life, Aboriginal stories tell us, is not far from here. It's only just in 5.5 kilometres north west of, we're on the northwest line, 5.5 kilometres from this tree, the tree of life. So this here is a piece of the tree of life. So a piece of the tree of life is called Dura, a stick. So this is Dura, and watch this. That's Dura. This is Dura. The earth is Dura. So any piece on earth is Dura. So what he holds is a stick from the tree of life. He holds a piece of Dura, and increasing his magic again, you know. So this is very Egyptian, you know, and very Egyptian. But then we throw in things like the 7 numbers within Murray Gwelder, and the Tula Marie in Dura, you know, the part of the tree of life.